All right, I want to continue talking on about the stress response and insomnia. I'm going to give you some nutritional strategies and some non-nutritional tips for dealing with the irritating feeling of just not being able to fall asleep and for preventing the unhealthy effects of sleep deprivation. The bright side is about simplification. Everything we're pounded with about health and nutrition, and for that matter, politics and legal matters and religion, everything seems to involve confusion and obfuscation. And it's designed to entrench the priests, the power structure, the gurus and holy men of medicine and health and economics and law. Eleanor Roosevelt said simplification is the first step towards rational living, and I think we would all be well advised to pay attention to this advice to simplify, especially when it comes to health. There's lots of ways to simplify health so that we can really leverage the body's healing mechanisms, take advantage of the built-in healing systems in the body. Here's an ultimate simplification for you. There's only two states that the body exists in. It's either healthy and in large measure relaxed, or it's sick and in large measure stressed. And it really comes down to a choice, a personal choice. Which one of these movements are we going to exploit? There's two great movements here. Two great movements. One towards safety and repair, growth, expansion, and the other towards contraction, shrinking, stress. Watch what happens when you poke a worm. What does it do? It contracts. A turtle sticks his head in his shell when it's stressed. An ostrich will stick its head in the sand when it's concerned for its safety. When the worm feels safe, it expands. When the tortoise feels safe, it sticks its head out of the shell. This expansive, open stance is associated with growth and repair. This is why stretching and yoga can be so helpful. What happens to a person as they age? What happens to elderly people? They contract. This shriveling up that takes place as we get older is not inevitable. It's the result of decades of immersion, of the fear response, of the anger response, of the stress response. Google the Kitavan people or the Kitavan culture, K-I-T-A-V-A-N. The Kitavans are people that live in New Guinea. They're famous for their good health and lack of diabetes. The kids don't have acne. They don't have heart disease. They don't have cancer. If you look at pictures of elderly Kitavans, you can't help but notice how strong and how vital they look. Even in their 70s and their 80s, the men stand tall and straight and have abdominal muscles that most 40-year-old Americans would love to have. In addition to not having heart disease, in addition to not having cancer, in addition to not having diabetes, in addition to not having zits, the Kitavans don't have stress, or at least they don't have the same kind of stresses that we have in our Western culture. Helio Gracie was a famous martial artist. He was 95 years old when he died, and he was doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu till the day he died. And when you see him walking, you can YouTube Helio Gracie and you can see his moves. It's amazing. This is what the human body is capable of. This is what we're all capable of. Ultimately, our health comes down to a choice. Either we do things that take our body towards safety with quick bursts of challenges. We don't want to be too safe now. Either we do things that take our body towards safety, or we do things to create a chemical state that puts us in emergency survival mode. And when I say we don't want to be too safe, this is very important. We need to be occasionally stressed. We need brief periods of stress and intensely stressed. Intense stress in brief bursts are best. Nietzsche said, what doesn't kill you, what makes you stronger. In the gym, we say, no pain, no gain. You have to go past your comfort zone. You have to, by definition, be uncomfortable. That's what it means to go past your comfort zone. But after short bursts of intense stress, and I'm talking seconds here, or minutes maybe, for you guys working out, you'll get much better results. If you do quick bursts of workout, quick sprints if you're running, you'll get more cut up, you'll get leaner, you'll get stronger if you work out intensely for really brief sprints or lightweight, contracting your muscles slowly and intensely for 30 seconds or 45 seconds. You don't even need weight. You can dumbbells or weights. You can clench or you can contract. You can tighten your glutes, your butt muscles, your abs super slowly and intensely. You can do it while you're waiting in line at the bank or at work. And then after 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 intense uncomfortable repetitions, you can rest for 1 or 2 days. And I promise we talk about insomnia, and that's where all of this is leading to. Keep in mind the law of simplification. If you have insomnia, if you have problems sleeping, you are dealing with a stress response. Your body is trying to keep you alert so you don't get eaten by a saber-toothed tiger. It thinks there's tigers on the loose. That's it, folks. You can't sleep, can't relax, because the body is undergoing what it thinks is an emergency. Now, keep in mind here, this emergency can be an emotional emergency, it can be a mental emergency, it can be a spiritual emergency, probably is for many of us. If you're thinking crazy thoughts and you're remembering all the stuff you did during the day or wished you did during the day, that's a serious emergency to the body. The kind of stress I'm talking about here, though, the kind of stress I'm talking about that elicits this adrenal stress response, the kind of stress that I want to talk about that causes insomnia, the kind of stress I'm talking about is physical stress. And what is physical stress? Inflammation, starvation, dehydration, suffocation, toxification, and that's it. So for insomnia, it is key, it is critical that we figure out how to deal with our adrenal glands, with our sense of safety, with the stress response. Anything we can do to send the body the message that we are safe is going to be critical for dealing with sleep issues. Safety equals sleep. That's what it means to sleep like a baby. Sleep like you're safe. Because if you're not safe, you're not going to sleep. If your body doesn't feel like it's safe, it's not going to allow you to go to sleep. That is the gift of the body. That's the way the body keeps us alive. So chronic activation of the stress system will keep you awake. We'll come back from our break. I'll tell you how you can address this. I'm Pharmacist Ben. You are listening to The Bright Side. Our number is 866-582-9933. We got more good health information coming at you right after this. Don't go away. Okay, so back to our story on insomnia. By the way, there's a really, really nasty drug called Prednisone, which you guys probably have heard of. Some of you are probably taking Prednisone. I talked to a gentleman yesterday who's, I think he said his sister had endometriosis a couple of days ago or yesterday. He said his sister had endometriosis, and they wanted to put her on Prednisone. Prednisone is a drug that duplicates the stress response. Yes, when you take Prednisone, you tell your body you are in emergency stress mode. The reason being, say, why would the doctor give you a drug that tells your body you're in an emergency condition, in an emergency stress mode? Well, it turns out when you're in an emergency stress condition, your immune system and your inflammatory system shut down. So in the brilliant wisdom of modern medicine, they figure, well, if we tell the body that it is an emergency condition, the inflammation will slow down and you won't have to worry about inflammatory conditions or immune conditions. And this is why I say that Prednisone is among the most dangerous and toxic of all medications. If you want to know what the stress response is about, look up the side effects of Prednisone. They're like a who's who of everything that happens when your body is under stress, when the stress response kicks in. Prednisone duplicates the stress response in the body, and the side effects of Prednisone are like a laundry list of everything that happens when your body is under stress. Increases in blood sugar, difficulties controlling emotion, difficulties with brain health and maintaining thinking, weight gain, facial swelling, ulcers, abdominal pain, blurred vision. These are all the things that happen when you take Prednisone, and these are all the things that are associated with the stress response. And not surprisingly, one of the side effects of Prednisone is insomnia. Chronic activation of the stress response system, the emergency response system, we call it the sympathetic nervous system, is gonna keep you awake. If you can't sleep at night, folks, you are dealing with activation of your stress response system. If you get up in the middle of the night and you can't fall asleep, chances are you have activated the stress management system through a dream or a nightmare. If this happens to you, or if you're just tired and you can't fall back asleep, you got lots of strategies you can use, non-drug strategies, non-medical strategies. If you're tossing and turning when you go to bed, if you're tired but you can't fall asleep, if you have insomnia, there's lots of things you could do. First of all, you consider the relationship between the stress hormone cortisol and melatonin. We've talked a lot about melatonin. I love this stuff. It's not really a nutritional supplement. It is a hormone, but you can get it for darn cheap, $3 a month to get your melatonin needs met, 3 milligrams or 6 milligrams a night. Use the sublingual form. Melatonin antagonizes opposes the stress hormone cortisol. Remember, there's two opposing hormonal activities. Just like there's two great streams of activities in biology, there are two opposing hormonal activities. One involves alertness, the other involves relaxation. In terms of cortisol and melatonin, these two hormones represent the antagonistic relationship between the hormonal response of alertness and the hormonal response of relaxation. In other words, as cortisol levels go up, melatonin levels drop. As your alertness and emergency hormone cortisol goes up, your rest and relaxation melatonin levels drop. If you're concerned about elevations in cortisol, take melatonin. Don't take it during the day. Take it before you go to bed at night. Under normal circumstances, there's a rise in melatonin as nighttime approaches, and when we go to bed, our melatonin levels should be high enough that we can fall asleep. As the morning sun enters our eyes, and you can even have your eyes closed, the morning sun enters your eyes through your eyelids as we're sleeping. It's supposed to trigger a rise in cortisol, and that's what wakes you up. And also, by the way, a rise in serotonin. So both serotonin and cortisol are alertness hormones, and they're associated with sunlight. If we're dealing with cortisol imbalances, say from emotional stresses or psychological stresses or physiologic stresses, this can throw off the melatonin-cortisol rhythm. In other words, if your cortisol levels are too high, as you approach bedtime, you may not get that rise in melatonin that you need to fall asleep, and this can result in the unpleasant symptoms of insomnia. If you find that you're tired but you can't go to sleep, chances are you're dealing with excess cortisol and hyperactivity of the sympathetic nervous system. Get yourself on 3 to 6 milligrams of melatonin. It's not a magic sleeping pill. The idea is melatonin is supposed to block some of the effects of cortisol and help duplicate the effects that should be happening in your brain. You should be making more melatonin as you approach bedtime, but if your cortisol levels are high, that may not be occurring. Taking supplemental melatonin can help counteract some of the negative effects, the negative alertness effects of cortisol. Another thing you can do to activate the parasympathetic nervous system, to balance out the sympathetic nervous system, is to watch your heartbeat or watch your breath. Paying attention to one of the body's involuntary responses like the heartbeat or breath, simply watching or listening to your breathing or the lub-dub sound that your heart makes, boom, 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 like that, just listening to it. Just paying attention to your heart rate, just paying attention to your breathing will turn on the parasympathetic rest and digest nervous system. Paying attention to any part of your body can have this effect. Try right now. Just sit still, concentrate on the tip of your nose. Concentrate on the air going in through the tip of your nostril. When was the last time you focused on the air going in through the tip of your nostril? Focus on the coolness of the air as it just enters the tip of your nostril, and you can feel yourself relaxing as you're focusing on the air entering the tip of your nostril. There's actually a complex of parasympathetic nerves, of rest and digest nerves located in this spot at the tip of the nose, and simply by paying attention to the contact that the air makes with this area at the tip of your nose can activate a relaxation response. There's a similar area on the top of your lip where your mustache would be. If you concentrate on this area, you're going to find yourself relaxing as the parasympathetic nerves are activated simply by awareness on this area at the top of your mouth. You can feel it as you're paying attention. I'm feeling it right now as I'm paying attention to the top of my upper lip. A relaxation response is activated. You can also lightly pet or touch this area in a stroking motion, and you can accomplish the same kind of relaxation response. Massage will activate the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest nervous system, and you don't need to pay a massage therapist $100 or $60 an hour to do it, even though that can be a nice indulgence. I'll tell you what I mean when we come back from our break. I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to The Bright Side. We'll take your phone calls when we come back, and I'll finish up this idea about massage for parasympathetic activation. When we come back, I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to The Bright Side. Don't go away. I just want to finish this up with massage. Tomorrow, on Monday, we'll talk about nutritional supplements that you can use for massage. And I'm also going to tell you, I've been getting a lot of letters about acne, and we covered the 7 different types of acne I think it's been almost a year and a half ago. So I'm going to touch on acne on Monday and address a couple of letters that I got. So if you're dealing with acne, you have a kid who's dealing with acne, you have a friend who's dealing with acne, you're going to want to tune in on Monday, and then we'll also finish up this idea about insomnia and the stress response and nutritional supplements you can use to help you fall asleep. Before we get to the phones, real quick, massage will activate the rest and digest nervous system. You don't need to pay $100 or $200 an hour to see a massage therapist, as wonderful as that is. I'm a big believer in using massage. If we were really serious about healthcare in this country, we would take a couple of $1 billion of Obamacare money and guarantee every American one massage a month or one massage a week. That's how serious massage is for improving health and well-being, for activating the rest and digest system, for counteracting cortisol and counteracting the stress response. But if you don't want to spend any money, you can do self-massage. You can massage your temples, and you can massage your scalp. You can massage your hands and your shoulders and your legs. Pay special attention to your feet and your toes. There are big-time parasympathetic nerves in the bottoms of your feet. If you have a colicky baby, massaging the soles of your baby's feet can have a very rapid and powerful relaxing effect. The same goes for a colicky spouse. If your husband or your wife is grumpy or nervous or anxious, or if they have insomnia, give them a foot massage. You never know. They may get so relaxed, you may get a little bonus points out of the deal, if you know what I mean. Anyway, if you don't have a spouse, you can always give yourself a foot massage. Yawning can activate the parasympathetic nervous system, and you don't have to wait for a spontaneous yawn to hit you. You can actually practice yawning, fake yawning, and you'll notice that you'll get slightly relaxed. These are ways that we can take control of our nervous system, specifically of our parasympathetic rest and digest nervous system. And by the way, if you're drinking a lot of Diet Pop, you should know that you have to be careful of NutraSweet. NutraSweet is broken down. Aspartame, NutraSweet, is broken down into 2 amino acids. One is called phenylalanine. Phenylalanine can have some seriously negative effects on relaxation and sleep. Phenylalanine is a stimulating amino acid. It's similar in chemical structure to methamphetamine, to amphetamine. It's like your body's natural amphetamine in a certain way. It's an amino acid. You can use phenylalanine to keep yourself alert. If you want to keep yourself alert, you can buy phenylalanine as an amino acid. But if you're having problems sleeping, you may want to consider laying off the Diet Coke, or at least not drinking Diet Coke too close to bedtime. So there's lots of ways that you can activate this parasympathetic response, this parasympathetic nervous system response, and there's nutritional supplements that you can use as well. We will talk about what those are on our next Bright Side program, and I will also, on our next Bright Side program, tell you about, we'll talk about acne, and we'll talk about nutritional strategies that you can use to deal with acne. So if you know anybody, or if you have zits and you're breaking out, you shouldn't be breaking out, nobody should be breaking out, you're going to want to tune into our next Bright Side program on Monday. All right, time to hit the phones. Our number, 866-582-9933. Let's take our first phone call of the day. Dave in New Jersey. What's up, Dave?
Hey, Ben.
Hey, buddy. Oh, Dave, my buddy. Talked about you yesterday.
Yeah, I heard you talk about me. I just want to clarify. It was 11 seconds a mile, not 11 minutes.
Okay,
I was going down the wrong path. Like I said to you when I talked to you earlier this summer, I was having a lot of trouble running, and I didn't understand why I had lost so much time. And we talked about supplements and stuff, and it just hit me in August. You were probably the 60th time I heard you say deep breathing.
Right.
And I just decided as I was driving, listening to you, I was like, let me just try this and see what happens. And all of a sudden, boom, like that day, everything got better. And then, as of course, when we're doing marathons, the longer we go, the better, the more it's going to play effect. Because why do we tire out when we get late in a race? It's the oxygen and how we
it's amazing.
lose the oxygen. So
it's
I just want to say thank you, because that really made a difference. And I think everybody out there, any endurance athlete out there, should know that it's just simple as that. Deep breathing will make a difference.
Thank you so much, Dave. I appreciate that. Thanks for your call, David. It's so much more meaningful when somebody who's experienced these results talks about them. It's so much more meaningful than just me, because I know some of you guys are thinking, well, I've got a vested interest, and I'm just a pharmacist, and I've got this airy-fairy way of looking, breathing, and massage. How silly can that be? No, folks, this stuff works. And so if you're out there, and I know you are because I've talked to you and I've seen your letters, if you're out there and you got benefits from deep breathing, from massage, from using nutritional supplementation, you will help a lot of people if you pick up the phone and dial 866-582-9933 and share your success story. Don't be stingy. If something has helped you, it can help a lot of other people. And if you're just a regular person, your advice is going to be more impactful in many ways than my advice could be. 866-582-9933 is your number. Thank you so much, Dave. Appreciate that. Moving on, let's talk to Todd in Oregon. Todd, welcome to the bright side.
Thank you for taking my call, Ben. My question is about bone spurs. I had a chiropractor take a X-ray of my neck, and he said that I had bone spurs in my neck. And when I go running, I notice that my heels are a little painful after I run, sometimes for days.
Okay, so here's the deal. And you've listened to the program. It sounds like you've heard the bright side story here. All disease, all breakdown in the body is cells going crazy. A bone spur is a bone cell going crazy. Bone cells are supposed to grow like all cells in an orderly pace. When bone cells go crazy, you end up with a bony growth. So the question is not specifically why are you having a bone spur. This question is why are cells going crazy. You see the distinction I'm making here? Does that make sense to you? We don't want to focus on the specifics of the osteocyte, the bone cell. We want to focus on why are cells going crazy. Does that make sense, Todd? It's not specifically the bone cells. It's why are cells in general going crazy. Good. It's a very important distinction to make, people. When you have high blood pressure, it's not why is a blood vessel cell going crazy. If you have thyroiditis, it's not why is the thyroid cell going crazy. If you have bone spurs, it's not why is a bone cell going crazy. The question we want to ask is why are cells going crazy, period. In other words, take the focus off the specific area, take the focus off the specific organ or the specific structure, and generalize it to cells going nuts. And by the way, Todd, if you have bone spurs, it's not just your bone cells that are going crazy. You probably have other things going on as well. You may have digestive issues, you may have thyroid problems, you may have insomnia, you may have any of the manifestations of a hyperactive stress response. You see what I'm saying, Todd? There's other things going on. You know what I mean?
Right.
Okay, so the question we want to ask is why are cells going nuts? And in terms of simplification, there's only one reason. It's inflammation, which is secondary to dehydration, toxification, suffocation, and starvation. So the question we want to ask when you have bone spurs is what is causing that area around the cell to become inflamed? And you're always going to see a cell that's not getting nutriated, a cell that's not getting oxygen, a cell that's not getting its poisons removed, and a cell that's dehydrated. And I'll tell you how you address this when we come back from our break. So hang tight, Todd. All right, I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to The Bright Side. We got more good health information coming at you right after this. Don't go away. Welcome back to The Bright Side. I am your host, Pharmacist Ben. Phone number 866-582-9933. 866-582-9933. We're talking to Todd in Oregon with bone spurs. Todd, you there, buddy?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so a bone spur is a bone cell going crazy. Actually, it's not really going crazy, but it's producing excess bone. One of the reasons that happens is because the cartilage in the area, in the joint near the bone, has begun to break down. So what you're dealing with when you're dealing with a bone spur is you're dealing with the same thing you're dealing with if you have any other health condition, a cell that is not doing what it's supposed to be doing, secondary to inflammation, starvation, toxification, and suffocation. Now, the four main nutrients for helping with bone and bone health and bone cell health are vitamin D, calcium, magnesium, and vitamin K. There's certainly other nutrients that are involved. Zinc is important, vitamin A is important, strontium is important. There's lots of nutrients that are involved, but the main ones are vitamin D, calcium, magnesium, and vitamin K. Now, what do these 4 nutrients have in common? They are, in order to absorb these nutrients, you need to have a functioning gallbladder, liver, and fat-absorbing system. Both vitamin D and vitamin K are fatty vitamins, and calcium and magnesium both require bile, which is the substance that's secreted out of the gallbladder in response to fats. Both of these minerals require bile for their absorption into the body. So if you're dealing with bone spurs, you're probably dealing with a condition secondary to degradation or breakdown of joint area, or arthritic kind of condition, and a digestive condition to boot. So here's what you're going to do. Number 1, focus on digestive health. Use digestive enzymes with all your meals. Get yourself on lecithin with all your meals. Use bile salts with all your meals, and make sure you're taking your vitamin D and your calcium and magnesium, the Osteomag from Longevity, for example, your Beyond Tangy Tangerine, and any other sources of vitamin D and vitamin K. Make sure you're taking them with meals, with your digestive enzymes, with your bile salts, and with your lecithin, and then finish off your meals with apple cider vinegar. Get yourself on the glucogel caps as well. Use the glucogel caps with your meals. And then it wouldn't hurt you to throw in 20,000 international units of vitamin A a day and 50 milligrams of zinc picolinate a day. So focus on digestive wellness. Focus on the nutrients that are specifically involved with bone formation and bone health. That is vitamin D, calcium, magnesium, and vitamin K. Eliminate problem foods, and make sure you're using those fatty vitamins and calcium and magnesium from the Osteomag with your meals, with the lecithin and with the digestive enzymes, with your apple cider vinegar, and with extra bile salts, B-I-L-E, bile salts. And thank you so much for your call. Appreciate it. Hope that helps you out. Todd in Oregon. Let's see. Let's go to Ohio and say hi to Jim. What's up, Jim?
For taking my call. First off, I have had excellent results with the deep breathing.
Good deal.
I go and have my blood pressure taken, and within a few minutes of doing some deep breathing, it just drops like a rock. It's fantastic.
Isn't that amazing?
It is. It blew me away the first time I tried it. My main question, myself and one of the distributors under me have been taking the Healthy Start Pack and glucogel and things like that. Mine was for my knees, and I've had great results with the knees, but for some reason I'm experiencing a lot of off and on pain in my thighs, especially towards the back around the hamstring area. And I'm just kind of curious.
It's a big muscle. That's one of the biggest muscles in your body, your hamstring.
Yep.
So it makes sense that if you had a problem, that's where it would be. It sounds like it's not getting oxygen or it's not getting nourished, especially if you have a history of hypertension. Is that correct? You have a history of hypertension?
Yeah,
okay.
It has come down, but it's I do have a history.
You're on the right track. Keep it up. Leg muscle tightness, especially in a big muscle like the hamstring, is almost always secondary to deficiencies in oxygen, number 1. And secondly, it could also be microinflammation caused by deficiency in nutrients. So first of all, continue with the deep breathing. How much are you doing that? How much deep breathing are you doing?
Nowhere near like I should. Whenever I think about it, I try and
Go
do it
for
probably a couple of times a day at minimum, but hopefully more.
Keep going more. Spasms, contractions, tightening, all of these can be secondary to cells that are being suffocated, cells that are not getting the oxygen that they need, or accumulation of toxicity in the area, which is also the flip side of breathing. You know, when people think about breathing, they think about oxygen, but the flip side is blowing off carbon dioxide and blowing off acid. Acidosis, lactic acid, toxicity in the area of a cell can cause spasming and can cause tightness and contraction as well. So make sure you're continuing on with the deep breathing, and then I would be using relaxing nutrients. Magnesium is specifically maybe the most important of all the relaxing nutrients. Vitamin B3, niacin is also very relaxing. We'll be talking about this on Monday. Niacin, magnesium, inositol, all of these have nice relaxing properties. GABA can be very relaxing. Using self-massage techniques, we talked about that earlier, all of that can go a long way towards relieving muscle tightness. And then last, but most certainly not least, dehydration can cause spasming and tightness as well. If you're not drinking half a gallon to a gallon of water a day, you could very well be dehydrated, and that can cause problems with tightness and with spasming. Get the book, Your Body's Many Cries for Water. The guy who wrote it is an Iranian doctor. His name is Batman Batman Ghali, I think his name is. It's a long Iranian name, but the title of the book is Your Body's Many Cries for Water. And he talks about how important water is for cramping and for spasming and also for muscle tightness. But I would be focusing on oxygenation, blowing off toxicity, relaxing nutrients like niacin and magnesium and inositol, maybe GABA, and then also making sure that you're well hydrated. And of course, you want to stay on the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. I assume you're using the BTT. Electrolytes are very, very important for all muscle contraction and relaxation. Thanks so much for sharing that with us too as well, Jim. Appreciate your call. Ron in Missouri, what is up? Welcome to the Bright Side.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Two things. Well, actually, three things.
Okay.
One, use a banana peel. That gets rid of bone spurs in 3 days. Just wear the sock over it.
Tell me about that. Say that again, Ron, about the banana peel.
Yeah, use a piece of banana peel, put it in the sock, and wear for about 3 to 5 nights, and your bone spur will be gone. Done it several times.
Yeah? That sounds like a magic spell. That sounds like one of those things you find in magic spell books. Are you sure that works?
Sure, I could give you several names, but anyway.
Okay, all right.
Massage therapy is wonderful. Now, my real question. My doctor wants me to take a quote-unquote non-preservative flu shot, and I refuse. Now, where can I find out weird information on how bad this thing is?
Well, you don't need any information. A flu vaccine is the flu. They give you a attenuated version of the flu so that your body produces its own immune response to the flu, and you supposedly don't get the flu. But why bother? Why would anybody mess around with a damn flu shot? You know, all you got to do is build your immune system. Make sure your immune system is strong and healthy. You don't need a flu shot. We survive fine without flu shots. The immune system takes care of viruses if you're strong and healthy. So personally, I don't see any need for a flu shot unless you want to participate in the medical model and have somebody stick something right in your blood. I would never even come close to a flu shot. Build your immune system, bro. Get on vitamin C, 5,000 milligrams a day. Use the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. Make sure you're getting your OPC selenium, 200 micrograms a day. Stay away from anything that messes up your blood sugar. There's nothing that will get you sick faster than go into the high blood sugar or low blood sugar roller coaster. Stay away from processed foods. Stay away from the McDonald's and the Taco Bells and all the crap that the standard American diet is replete with. Make sure you're getting vitamin D. The importance of vitamin D for the immune system is really, really significant. Of course, we know vitamin D comes from the sun. That's one of the reasons why people get sicker in the wintertime is they're not getting out in the sun. So make sure you're getting out in the sun. Make sure you're using your omega-3, your fish oils, which contain vitamin D. You can even use a vitamin D supplement, although I don't particularly like the supplements as much as I like folks getting vitamin D from the sun. Make sure you're getting vitamin E, which is very important for the immune system, 400 international units a day of vitamin E. Magnesium is important for the immune system. There's probably no more important mineral for the immune system than zinc. Folks, if you are considering a flu shot and you're not taking 50 milligrams of zinc, you're really going about it the wrong way. Zinc is a powerful, powerful immune-boosting mineral. Most folks aren't getting anywhere near the zinc they need. Some folks aren't getting any zinc, at least in a supplemental fashion. 50 milligrams of zinc a day, super important for the immune system. And then vitamin A is also very important for the immune system. And by the way, there is an important relationship between vitamin A and zinc. If you're not getting vitamin A, chances are you're not going to be able to get the zinc that you need. They work together. 20,000 international units of vitamin A, and nobody needs the darn flu shot. It's a scam and a scandal like most prescription and non-prescription medicine is, and I'm telling you that as a pharmacist. All right. On our next Bright Side program, we're going to talk about insomnia. I'll tell you nutritional supplements that you can use to take care of insomnia. And then we're going to go over a little bit about acne. I'll tell you about how you can address acne using digestive strategies, using nutritional supplements, and maybe we'll touch a little bit on the 7 different types of acne. If you have zits or breaking out or you know somebody who is, you're going to want to tune into the Bright Side on Monday. All right. That's all we got time for today. I'm Pharmacist Ben. Check out my website, brightsideben.com. Click on the Join Now link on the upper left-hand corner of the page if you want to join the team. Stay tuned for Alex Jones next on most of these stations. We'll talk to y'all later, folks. Bye for now.